It seems like the Denver Broncos are facing some uncertainty going into their Monday night game against the Cleveland Browns.
Definitely. The news about Bo Nix's back injury, even after he played through it in the last game against the Raiders, raises some questions about whether he'll be able to play.
How bad is this back issue? And could it keep him off the field for this important game?
It's hard to say how serious it is right now. He was listed as limited in practice, but we don't know the full extent of the injury. Any injury for a quarterback, though, especially a rookie like Nix, is definitely a concern.
The Broncos are currently 7-5, with a 73% chance of getting into the playoffs. How much does this game against the Browns affect their chances?
This game is a big one for the Broncos. A win would really help them in the AFC playoff race. Losing could make things much harder for them, especially with some tough teams still left on their schedule.
Nix has had a really impressive rookie season. Can you talk a little more about the impact he's had on the Broncos offense?
Nix's performance has been a big part of why the Broncos have been successful. His ability to keep plays alive with his mobility and make accurate throws downfield has added a whole new element to their offense.
His game in Week 11 against the Falcons, where he threw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, was especially impressive. What made that performance stand out?
In that Atlanta game, Nix showed great composure and decision-making. He really took advantage of the Falcons' zone coverage, finding open receivers and throwing accurate passes. That game really showed how much he's learned about NFL defenses.
The Broncos also have a strong offensive line ranked second in the league. How much have they helped Nix succeed?
The offensive line has been really important in giving Nix the time and protection he needs to play well. Their ability to keep him from getting pressured has let him focus on reading the defense and making plays.
Considering we're not sure if Nix will play, how might his absence affect the team's plan against the Browns?
If Nix can't play, the Broncos will probably have to change their game plan. They might run the ball more and use shorter, quicker passes to take the pressure off the backup quarterback.
What are the strengths and weaknesses of the Broncos' backup quarterback, and how confident are you that he could lead the team to a win if he has to play?
The backup quarterback is a veteran with experience in this league. He knows the offense well and can manage the game. The problem is he doesn't have the same dynamic playmaking ability that Nix has.
This situation with Nix really shows how much pressure is put on young quarterbacks in the NFL. How do these young players usually deal with the expectations and attention that come with this position?
It's tough for any young player to transition into the NFL, especially a quarterback. The speed of the game, the complicated defenses, and the constant media attention can be a lot to handle. It takes a special combination of talent, resilience, and mental toughness to be successful at this level.
The scrutiny on quarterbacks is even more intense when they play for a team with high expectations like the Broncos. How does that added pressure affect their development?
Playing for a team that expects to win can be both good and bad for a young quarterback. Having the support and resources of a winning organization is helpful, but the pressure to win right away and live up to those expectations can be really heavy.
How much responsibility does the coaching staff have in creating a supportive environment where young quarterbacks can thrive under these conditions?
The coaches play a huge role in how a young quarterback develops. They need to provide guidance and support, build his confidence, and protect him from too much criticism. It's really important to find the right balance between pushing him to get better and protecting him from too much pressure.
It seems like the Broncos are at a really important point in their season. What happens in this game against the Browns could have a big impact on whether they make the playoffs. And not knowing for sure whether Bo Nix will play makes this already important game even more complicated.
Absolutely. The Broncos' ability to adapt and stick to their game plan no matter who's playing quarterback will be a big factor in how this game turns out. How well the offensive line plays and how effective their running game is will be especially important if Nix isn't able to play. Bo Nix's potential absence brings up a question about backup quarterbacks and how important they are in the NFL. How do these players get ready for the chance they might have to start, especially in a high-pressure game like this?
Backup quarterbacks have a tough job. They have to stay ready even though they don't play much. They need to know the playbook inside and out, study their opponents, and practice consistently so they can execute plays when needed.
Besides all the technical stuff, what are the mental and emotional challenges for backup quarterbacks when they suddenly have to lead the offense?
It takes a lot of mental toughness to step in as the starter, especially in a big game. Backup quarterbacks have to deal with high expectations, and often they don't have much time to get ready. They need to be able to focus, stay calm, and make quick decisions under pressure.
Going from being a backup to the starter can be a big change. How do teams usually change their offensive strategy when the backup quarterback comes in?
The changes they make often depend on what the backup quarterback is good at and how much experience he has. Teams might simplify the playbook, focusing on plays that suit the backup's strengths. They might also rely more on running the ball to control the clock and reduce risks. The offensive line also becomes even more important in protecting the quarterback.
This discussion about backup quarterbacks makes me think about the bigger picture of individual players versus teamwork in football. Some people say that one player, especially the quarterback, can have a huge impact on whether a team wins or loses. Others believe that it takes a whole team working together. What's your take on this?
Football is a complex game where you need both individual talent and everyone working together. The quarterback's performance is important, but winning depends on all 11 players doing their jobs well. The offensive line needs to protect, the quarterback receivers need to run good routes, and the defense needs to force turnovers. It all adds up to the final score.
The quarterback position is probably the one that gets the most attention in football. What makes a quarterback successful in the NFL besides the obvious things like having a strong arm and being accurate?
To be a successful NFL quarterback, you need a mix of physical skills and mental abilities. Of course, physical talent is important, but you also need intelligence, the ability to make good decisions, and leadership qualities. They have to be able to understand defenses, anticipate where the defenders will be, and make accurate throws even when they're under pressure.
People often talk about leadership as a crucial quality for quarterbacks. How does a quarterback's leadership style affect the offense and the team's overall performance?
A quarterback's leadership is about more than just calling plays and running the offense. They set the example for the whole team. Good communication, confidence, and the ability to inspire teammates are all essential for building a united and successful team.
Young quarterbacks coming into the NFL face immense pressure. How do these players deal with the expectations and the close attention they get, especially in a high-profile city like Denver?
To handle the pressure of being an NFL quarterback, you need mental toughness, belief in yourself, and a strong support system. It helps young quarterbacks to have mentors who are experienced players and coaches, to get guidance from mental health professionals, and to be part of a team culture that focuses on growth and development.
What's happening with the Broncos and Bo Nix's injury shows how unpredictable the NFL can be. How do teams deal with these unexpected problems and stay focused on their goals?
The NFL is all about adapting. Teams have to be flexible and resilient, able to overcome challenges and keep their eyes on the prize. They need to have a next man up mentality, trust in their preparation, and stay positive to deal with the ups and downs of a long and tough season.
This game against the Browns is really important for the Broncos' playoff hopes. What are the key things that will determine who wins this crucial matchup?
A few important factors will probably decide the winner of this game. The Broncos' defense needs to stop the Browns' strong running game. Offensively, the Broncos need to have a balanced attack whether Nix plays or not. Special teams could also make a big difference because field position and momentum swings can be crucial in a close game.
The Browns are a tough matchup for the Broncos defense. They have a really strong running game that could cause problems for the Broncos' front seven. How do you think the Broncos will plan their defense to stop the Browns' offense?
I think the Broncos defense will focus on stopping the Browns running backs and making their quarterback throw the ball. They'll need to be disciplined about staying in their positions, get off blocks, and chase the ball carrier aggressively.
On offense, the Broncos need to figure out how to move the ball consistently against a strong Browns defense. What are some of the key areas they need to take advantage of to score points?
The Broncos need to have a balanced offense where they run the ball and pass the ball effectively to keep the Browns defense guessing. They need to take advantage of any mismatches they find in the passing game. Use play-action passes to create opportunities for bigger plays and avoid turning the ball over, which could give the Browns momentum.
Special teams often get overlooked, but they can be really important in close games. How big of a role do you think special teams will play in this game, and what are some things to keep an eye on?
Special teams could definitely be a deciding factor in this game. Field position and momentum swings can be huge in tight games. The Broncos need to avoid making mistakes on special teams, try to gain an advantage in field position, and score points whenever they get a chance on special teams plays.
With so much at stake in this game and not knowing for sure if Bo Nix will play, how do you predict this matchup will go?
I think this is going to be a really close and hard-fought game. The Browns are a team that needs a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Broncos want to secure their spot in the playoffs and build momentum for the rest of the season. The winner will likely be the team that controls the line of scrimmage, doesn't make mistakes, and takes advantage of their scoring opportunities.
This game gives us a good chance to talk about how the NFL is changing. How has the game changed in recent years, and what are some of the key trends you've noticed?
The NFL is always evolving. On offense, we're seeing more teams using spread offenses where they pass the ball a lot and try to create mismatches for the receivers. On defense, teams are using more complex strategies and versatile players to counter those offensive changes. The use of data and technology has also had a big impact on coaching and player development.
As we wrap up our conversation, I'd like to get your thoughts on the future of the Denver Broncos. What are your expectations for the team in the short term and the long term?
I think the Broncos' success this season depends on whether they can make the playoffs. They have a talented team and good coaches, so they definitely have the potential to go far in the playoffs. For the future, the development of Bo Nix will be really important. If he can continue to improve on his great rookie season and stay healthy, the Broncos could be a top team for a long time.
It's been a great discussion about the Denver Broncos, their upcoming game against the Cleveland Browns, and the bigger picture of what's happening in the NFL. Your insights have been really helpful in understanding this matchup.
Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah,
It's always enjoyable to talk about football with such a knowledgeable expert.
I enjoyed it too. I'm looking forward to our next conversation about the NFL.